hesitant about committing myself to a lineage. How do I know it's the right practice for me? At the same time, I'm worried that I'm taking too long to choose. What do I do?
This is a natural question. I think a common question, no? I don't know you are already on the path or not, but it's similar to the marriage. I don't know, committing to something serious. Right? You don't get the marriage, or you don't want to propose every girl you meet or every guy whom you meet, right? So instead of rushing to decide, allow yourself to genuinely engage with perhaps some kind of, in this case, spiritual path, right? So the teaching, study, contemplation, and the practice. So what I'm saying here is it's natural to have this kind of feeling of hesitation to this big commitment, feels like a big commitment, and also urgency. When we consider the deep commitment to something like a lineage. So that's understandable. Usually the suggestion is don't rush, right? Don't rush to decide. Allow yourself to really dive into that, whatever, engage, that's a kind of a key to engage with the teachings through study, contemplate, and practice. Our lineage is not just affiliation or you try to join the club, athletic club, sports club or something like that, minimum, which one's good or which one's cheaper or whatever. It's nothing like that. Through direct experience, right? Engaging it and having some kind of taste, through one's own experience, something resonate. Transformation, perhaps a living transformation dawns onto us through our own engagement and through our direct experience. Maybe we have to ask ourselves, does this practice speak to my heart? Does this teaching resonate, or does it challenge and inspire me? Both challenge enough and also inspire me. Do I feel a sense of connection with the community and someone who holds the community, namely a teacher? Doubt or questioning is a part of the growing, part of the process, especially in the West. It's important, but clarity often arises through sincere engagement rather than overthinking. We have a tendency to overthink. There are so many information. Then based on those information, perhaps fame, how many members of that communities or teacher is very well-known or those things. Those are also important, but most important thing, the one's own direct experience, whether we feel the connection or not. Through our engagement. It may not be a full engagement, but get a taste of doing a short practice or something like that. For example, in a community, we have a Vajra gathering and we have a tea offering. That's the perfect opportunity to get to know the community and also our approach. We really focus on this direct experience and personal experience and the dialogue. From day one in Dakini's Whisper, we are encouraged to have a conversation, this kind of conversation. So we continue to that. At the same time, trust that timing. We don't want to miss the timing. Momentum unfolds naturally, but also we don't want to miss it. Too much examinations and sometimes miss the opportunity. There's no rush. If you truly don't disperse, step forward with curiosity and humility, as well as a commitment. Even if just one small step at a time, path will reveal itself. Right? We are talking about the tantric journey, self-secret. When we are open, the path will reveal to us itself. This is a good topic to open to discussion. How you approach to this kind of question. I'm sure at some point you had this kind of question. Maybe you may still have this question, but how you approach in the modern context as a contemporary practitioners.
Maybe the question is even more relevant in the contemporary setting as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're in England 400 years ago in a village, everybody was Christian, right? There wasn't a question as to which lineage I was a part of. And then probably the same thing in Tibet, if it's very remote, most people were part of the lineage that they grew up around. And nowadays we're like, there's too much, there's too many options almost. So you get this analysis paralysis, like you were saying, right? This indecision. So I think, yeah, it's a very relevant question for today. I think all of us have gone through it or are going through it for sure. But,
Yeah, karmic things too. Each of us bring this karmic momentum to this life, right? So some people are really feeling toward the Dzogchen. Of course, all have that aspect of it, but have a different kind of traits and inclination geared towards certain teaching, certain approach of the communities or whatever.
I've struggled with this question massively throughout my life. Finding a spiritual home is how I sort of like finding my spiritual community. And I went through many different lineages and tried to find the right one, and not just Buddhist lineages, like other religions and other spiritualities. And like I very much resonates with me when Khandro says like no rush. Absolutely, because that's sort of how it felt. But I think for me there was this profound moment when I realized the preciousness of my human life. I'm not saying that I even fully realize that now, like to this day. I mean, it's not like I'm spending 24 hours of my life practicing, which I really should be doing. But like I think there's a point like before you even that for the four thoughts that turn the mind, when you really come to that point and you get to like and you have a taste of that appreciation, then for me, I started to feeling quite like I was like, time is of the essence. I don't want to waste this precious human life. I think Tsongkhapa's writings, Shantideva's Bodhisattvacharya, like there was so much, like when you read the way that they talk about this whole human life, you're like, I don't want to lose it. It's like, this like what is it like you have this like the preciousness of meeting the Dharma is like the turtle poking its head out every 100 years trying to get through a ring. And it's like you get this imagery. And so there can be this feeling that you're running out of time. And then I think here in the West, we're really prone to starting to feel really guilty. I am. Like this with this Christian guilt that we tend to put upon ourselves massively, where we start to feel like I should be doing this better, I should be doing this better, I should be doing this better, rather than just easing into it a little bit and not wanting to make the wrong decision, of course, like Angela was saying. Like we always have this feeling. And Jamgon Kongtrul for me was really helpful for me to transition into a bit of a softer approach with that. But that's probably but that's how I sort of found my way eventually into like my spiritual, like where I could say I'm home, right? Like after like 10 years of searching, really, like I'm home. And and that doesn't mean that I'm done with, right? That means that the practice is just beginning, but at the very least you're like, you have to be fully content at that point, like with like this is right. It's not like okay, there's no doubt or anything like that. There's different levels of doubt, but you get to this point where doubt isn't oh, is this the right lineage for me? It's more of a like, no, I need to deepen my connection. I need to deepen my connection with the lineage, but I know this is the lineage for me. And once you have that, a whole different world opens up, I think.
You're talking about the Jamgon Kongtrul. So this is my new book. Introduction, first page. I quoted to him. When you study everything under the sun. When you reflect, keep an open mind. When you practice, do one practice and go deeper. So that's kind of idea. Feels like the key is our direct experience, whether we get some kind of taste the chocolate in this particular teaching or particular practice given or not. Some kind of drop of the taste of the chocolate, then feel more enthusiastic about, more commit. Commitment is just a word, right? Sometimes in the West, they don't like that word commit. Nobody wants to commit to anything. On the other hand, commitment is freedom as well, because receive blessing by committing to something, just as Jamgon Kongtrul said, commit to one practice, then go deeper all the way to the awakening. Because that commitment is more like, you said hook. It's kind of a spiritual bond you can make on this life. Very rare, and then we can nurture it. Without the commitment in that sense, it's difficult to go all the way. Yeah, sometimes I use this analogy, right? River. Without jumping into the river, you cannot let the river flow to push yourself all the way to the awakening. Always sitting by the river and watching which current I should jump in or not. Then end of life, this life, precious human life. At least jump in. and then start maybe learning how to swim